Hi, everyone. My name is Anne Andrews, and I've been in the area of personnel management and human resources for over 30 years. And in one of my first appointments, I was working with a food manufacturing company, and we had a horrendous problem with high turnover in our customer service telemarketing department. And we would spend forever recruiting and taking all the time to make sure we got the right people. And then after about 3 months, they would leave. We just couldn't keep people. It was such a stressful environment. So by coincidence, I happened to go on a profiling workshop, and I'd never heard of profiling. I didn't know what it was. A completely separate situation from what seemed to be going on with this particular team. And so this profiling session just set off so many light bulbs for me. So I thought, I wonder if by using this profiling process, we can find out, are we making recruitment mistakes? Are we making induction mistakes? Have we got a leadership problem? So we had nothing to lose. So we profiled everybody in the team and came up with the most amazing discovery. So I'm going to leave that little team story for now, and then I'm going to take you through profiling and bring you back to that story to show you how, with the use of profiling, we saved hundreds of thousands of dollars in constantly recruiting people that weren't right. Okay, so first slide, thanks. So what I want to talk to you about is, and I'm going to switch off my camera now. I want to talk to you about what profiling isn't, because the number of people that get upset when you say we would like to profile you, it's clear that there's quite a lot of concern and fear around profiling, and there really doesn't need to be. And so because I've worked with people over 30 years, I still get people saying, how come some people are so easy and others just drive me mad? I'm going to introduce you to Hippocrates, which probably sounds really weird in this day and age, but you'll understand why shortly. I'm going to talk to you about two profiling, and there are hundreds of different profiling tools, but I'm going to talk to you about two, one that's very popular and the other which is really obvious and can be taught to anybody. So I'm going to talk to you about the 5 reasons conflict occurs in teams, because most of my work over those 30 years has been from a call from a manager or an owner saying, help, I've got a problem with my team. One person just isn't working out and we just don't quite know what to do next. I want to talk to you about the empty corner syndrome. Because I've worked with high-performing teams for over 30 years, I can promise you every single team I've ever worked with has what I call an empty corner. And you'll see why that's important and what the gap is when you have an empty corner. And then I want to talk to you about bringing out the best in your people, because it's too expensive to keep losing people and having to start the process all over again. So next slide. So what profiling isn't, it is not about putting people in boxes. I know that people are very fearful of that. They think, oh, look, my boss is now going to find out things about me that I'd rather they didn't know, and I'm not going to get promoted or whatever. And all this fear stuff comes out. And it's like, whoa, just slow down. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Profiling isn't a way to trick people. It just isn't. It's a way of you seeing you, knowing what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, why a particular job wouldn't be right for you, or why a particular promotion would be the very worst thing you could do. It's about helping you go along a career path that's right for you. It's absolutely a way, and this probably sounds a bit sinister, but at the recruitment stage, you have to get past the recruitment mask. People will tell you what you want to hear at the recruitment stage. I don't know why they do it, whether it's they're desperate for a job, or they want a promotion, or they want more money, but they will tell you what they think you want to hear. Well, the profiling tool will get you, the person that's recruiting, past the mask. It will show you who the person really is. And that's who we want. We want to know who the person really is. And the other thing, of course, is I've even had people try this to answer the questions, and they think the way that the person who's recruiting them would want them to answer. You cannot fool a profiling system. It will simply come back and it will show you that there's something not right about the way the questions have been answered. So it isn't a way to trick people. So next slide, thanks. So how come some people are so easy and others are moody, grumpy, difficult, bitching, awkward, or just plain old weird? Why is that? Next slide. So I'm going to introduce you to Hippocrates. Now, Hippocrates lived about 400 years before Christ, and he is the person that created the very first ever profiling system all those years ago. That's how long they've been around. He was the father of modern medicine, and he realized when he was working with people who came to him for various health issues that there were 4 different temperaments, if you like, 4 different blood types. And he called them words like choleric, sanguine, phlegmatic, and melancholic, words that don't mean anything today. Literally translated, choleric are people who are quite temperamental, they're quite fiery. Sanguine people are very optimistic, you know, they'll come to you for whatever it is and they'll find all the good things and the things that you're telling them. The phlegmatics are very calm and composed. If you're working with a phlegmatic, you will know that they don't get ruffled. And then if he was working with someone he classed as melancholic, they were very cautious people. They wanted to ask a million questions, why and how and when and what and where. Now, his profiling or his way of working is still in process today. There are many Hippocratical medical processes, and I tried to find a book that I could put up, and unfortunately it's not a very good picture, but there's one there which is about the Hippocratic diet. You know, eating for your blood types, that's been around for a long time too. So it isn't something that we should dismiss lightly. A lot of people think it's all a little bit nanu and a bit, you know, woo-woo. It isn't. It absolutely isn't. And when I get back to my team that I'm going to talk to you about, you'll see, oh my goodness, now I understand why this stuff works. So next slide. So probably the profiling tool that's most common, and as I say, there are hundreds of versions, is DISC profiling. And DISC is literally D, which are the dominant people, I, which are the influential people, S, which are the steady people, and C, which are the compliant people, which if you look over to Hippocrates' words, they are your choleric, sanguine, phlegmatics, and melancholics. So even DISC in this day and age was based on his initial summary of how people operate. So if we move to the next slide, this is the profiling session I went on when we were having all the challenges with our customer service team. And this is the one that I teach more than anything because it's very visual and it's very easy for people to understand. Some profiling tools have words that don't really mean anything much anymore, but everybody I've taught this to over 30 years get it immediately. And so if we look at the 4 types in the DOPE test, DOPE is dove, owl, peacock, eagle. The doves are the steady people, the calm, the don't get ruffled people. The owls, the compliance people, the ones that are cautious and ask a lot of questions. The peacock are the ones, the influence ones, the ones that are bright and gregarious and fun and optimistic. And then the eagles, the dominant ones, are the ones that will want to know, when will this happen and when will it be done and when can I get the results and when, you know, the when questions. So the first thing I want to say here is, A, you have all of them in you. B, there's no right or wrong. C, there's no better or worse. And as I go through this session, you will see we need all 4 types. So if I just explain a little bit more about the outside of this, slide, you will see down the bottom, there's the word emotion. Doves and peacocks have similarities. They make their decisions based on emotion. You will hear them use phrases like, I feel like, or I get a sense that, or I get a gut feeling that this is going to work or not work. Whereas the owl and the eagle, their similarities are they base their decisions based on logic. Where are the facts? Where's the research? Where's the data? Where's the information? So over on the left-hand side, you will see the word ask. Owls and doves have similarities in that they are quite low assertive. If they're wanting to do something, they will ask permission. They will say, is it okay if I, would you mind if I, do you think it would be okay if I? Whereas over on the other side, where you see the word tell, the eagles and the peacocks, they don't ask permission. They will just tell you, we're going to do this and we're going to do it there and we're going to do, and whereas the owls, the doves are going, oh, hang on a second, well, you know, what about us and where do we fit in? So you'll already start to see it as an imbalance of power. So think through also which are the people that dislike each other the most. So if you think in terms of opposites, the owl and the peacock do not get on. The owls are usually the ones in our accounts department. The peacocks are usually the people in our sales department. And the owl is saying to the peacock, you haven't done your paperwork this week. And the peacock is saying, oh, get a life. You know, I'm out here trying to get sales and you're sitting there in your nice warm office, get stuffed basically. But if we don't have your paperwork this week, we don't know if we can get your bonus through this week. So we have to find some workable compromise between us because both of these people have to understand each other's needs. And similarly, the eagle and the dove. The eagle are going, oh, we need more productivity and we need to get more stuff out the door. And the doves are going, oh, what about the people? You know, we're all stressed and tired, and especially now post-COVID, you know, half our people aren't here and you're asking for more and we haven't got the people. And the eagles are saying, oh, look, stuff the people. If we don't get the stuff out the door, we won't have the money to pay their wages. And so you see, we've got all this conflict going on between people. And we have to find a way to work together because we need all four of you. We need information. We need to care for our people. We need ideas and sales, and we need to get results. So there's no right or wrong, but there's a whole heap of confusion between the different people if they don't understand that each of them have an important role. So next slide. So have a think about it, because usually when I do the bird version, people straight away go, oh my goodness, yes, I think I'm an owl. Or, oh my goodness, oh no, I think you were definitely a peacock, or, you know, whatever. Which trait do you have the most of? Because we have all four of them in us, and I've given you an inverted triangle. We have all four of them in us, but it is like the inverted triangle. We have a dominant trait and a least trait. And if you do a profile, the profile will tell you how much of each you have. Your dominant trait is your strength. Your least trait is your weakness. But wherever you are is okay. There's no right or wrong, no better or worse. The point here is that each type will think, work, communicate, and deal with conflict in different ways. And so this is the stuff we have to understand. People aren't out to get us. They're not trying to be obstructive or destructive. They're just coming from a different point of view. And so the biggest part of a team is understanding how each of us thinks, works, communicates, deals with conflict, so that we can work together as a team. So next slide. So understanding people's strengths and weaknesses. The challenge for most of us is we don't see ourselves as other people see us. You know, nobody wants to be the eagle. No, I don't want to be there. But we need eagles. We need people to get things done. We need to see ourselves as other people see us. And at the recruitment stage, I can promise you that people will tell you what you want to hear. If you happen to be looking for an owl and you have a dove sitting in front of you and you're saying, tell me about your detail, your detail orientation. Tell me how you are with systems. Tell me how you are with time management. If they desperately want the job, they'll say, oh no, I'm really good at all of those things. A dove isn't good at any of those things. And the profile will tell you that. Okay, so it's not right or wrong. It's just that this is not going to be the right person for the job you're offering. Understand observable behaviors. In a team, you will see people doing things that you think, I wonder why they do that. I wonder why they think that. And if you understand the profile, you'll say, oh, I understand why they're doing that. That's because that person's an owl. That's because that person's a dove. Now, in a team, if we have put people in the wrong jobs for the wrong reasons, you will have a team that's under stress because people aren't playing to their strengths. They've been put in a position which they probably told you they wanted, and then they find it isn't what they want, but they're stuck with it and you're stuck with them. And so the stress levels start because they're not going to perform to their best. So think in terms of, if you've got someone in your team or you think they're just not performing, have a think about, are they actually in the wrong job? The person might be great, but they've maybe just told you a few porkies to get a job at all, and we've put them in the wrong place. I can't tell you the number of times I've had calls from owners and managers who say, look, I've got this person, they're just not performing and we need to get rid of them. And I said, okay, well, before you make that decision, because that's a huge decision, let's profile them. And I can share them with them, the profile, and I'll say, this person is in the wrong job. They're great people. They've got this talent and this skill and that, but they haven't got that one that you're judging them on. So please profile your people. So next slide. So the strengths of each type, and they've all got strengths and they've all got weaknesses. So owls take care of the detail. They love detail. Nobody else does. We all hate it. Doves look after your people. They will be the ones that if somebody's got a marriage breakup or a child that's in trouble or whatever, the doves on your team will know that. And they will be the ones that hopefully will come to you as the owner or manager and say, look, you need to know that Jane is going through some really tough stuff at home. Please just ease up on her. And, we're happy to support her through this. They will look after you, and they will look after your customer. Do never forget that doves look after your customers. So peacocks, they bring lots of energy, lots of fun, and they'll bring the outrageous ideas. Now, here's the mistake we make. Don't let them implement them, because they won't. They never will. They're just good at ideas. Yeah, okay, I think this is a really great idea. And then they'll step back. Their job, as far as they're concerned, is done. And they'll hand that over to the rest of the team and go, well, come on, get going. You can do this. This is a really great idea. And then, of course, our eagles get things done. When will we get this out? Where are we at with that? How did that go? Where did we go wrong there? They are the ones that will ask the result questions. So next slide. Here are our weaknesses. Owls will avoid conflict. They hate conflict. If there's stuff going on in the team, they'll probably either shut down physically in the room, fold their arms, put their heads down and start doodling, or they'll go into their office, close the door and keep out of everybody's way. They avoid conflict. Now, I'm not saying conflict is good, but some conflict is healthy. Sometimes we do have to have a bit of conflict to sort things out, to be able to have everybody put their cards on the table and say, look, this isn't working for me, or this doesn't sit right with me, or we could do better than this. It's not a criticism. It's just, we need to sort these things out. Our doves, unfortunately, can be a bit passive aggressive. They're the people that you hardly ever hear from them because they're lovely and calm and they're looking after everybody else. But they're the kind of people that we put a lot of pressure on. Oh, she can do that and she can do that, or he can do that for us. And then eventually they will just go, whoa, hang on a second. I've had enough of this. And we stand back going, oh my goodness, what just happened there? Because they will only take so much stuff. They will only take so much crap. And our peacocks can be drama queens. I once worked for a boss who was very good at throwing things. You just had to work out how to get out of the room before the things hit you, you know, not a good look. But that was his style of de-stressing. And then, of course, our eagles can be intimidating. They can be quite scary. We need to remember that if we're an eagle. We don't realize that we're coming across as, you know, forceful and bossy and maybe even bullying. But to other people, you know, we might be quite terrifying. So next slide. So the 5 reasons that conflict occurs in our teams are, and you've already seen it, parties have different information. Owls have information, eagles want information, doves don't know what information is, and peacocks are still outdoors having lunch with somebody. We have different goals and agendas. We each want different things. We have different styles of communication. We've already seen some ask, some tell. Some think about emotion, some think about logic. We have clashing personalities, the opposites. Or we may have unresolved history. There might have been a situation but wasn't resolved properly, and there's baggage left. You know, somebody might have accused somebody of bullying, and that might not have been handled very well, which is often the case. And so both parties are now expected to work together when there's unresolved stuff. So try and resolve stuff. Don't let stuff fester. Cool. Next slide. So you've heard me talk about the empty corner. When I first start working with the team physically, and we've done the profiling and we've had a little look at the how they all work, I will get them to physically stand up, and I get the owls to go into one corner, and I get the doves to go into another corner, and I get the peacocks to go into another corner, and I get the eagles to go into another corner. And I can guarantee you 100% every team I've ever worked with, there will be one empty corner, because we recruit in our image. If I'm a dove, I will recruit doves. If I'm a peacock, I will recruit peacocks, because we're on the same wavelength. We get on together. We think, oh, wow, this person's amazing. But also our sector attracts certain types. Think in terms of accounting. Accounting will be full of owls. Nursing, kindergarten, things like that will be full of doves. Media, TV, sales, marketing will be full of peacocks. And whatever the sector is, you can pretty much guarantee that the eagle will be running things. So we have a sector problem, because we need all 4 corners filled, because each profile asks a very different but important question, which I'll come to shortly. And I keep saying we need all 4 types. So next slide. So here's the questions each of them will ask. Owls will ask, how do I do that? When we've made a change in a system for whatever reason, they will want to be told, you do this and then you do that, and then you do that and then you do this. And we're going, can't you work that out? And the owls are going, no, because I might make a mistake. Security and safety and being, you know, no mistakes is vital to them. So when they're saying, how do I do that? They're not being stupid. They're wanting you to tell them step by step so that they don't make a mistake. Doves will ask, who will this affect? This decision is going to change various things. Who will be affected? And this is where your customer care comes in. I can't tell you the number of times that management have made decisions where somebody has said, hang on a second, that's going to throw some of our customers, or hang on a second. There was one company I worked with where they wanted to change the shift times to start a shift early at 5 o'clock in the morning, and the employees were mostly women, and the doves were saying, hang on a second, how will these women get to work at 5 o'clock in the morning? Some of them don't have cars. It's pitch black. How are they supposed to get to work? So who will be affected? Peacocks will ask why. Why are we changing things? Especially or particularly if it wasn't their idea. If it was their idea, it was, why can't we do this? But if it's somebody else's idea, it's like, well, I don't think so, because that wasn't my idea. So got a few egos in our peacock area, and eagles simply want to know, when will it be done? But the thing is, All of those 4 questions are valid and vital, and yet some of those questions we do not ask. We just don't give people permission to ask questions. Next slide. So bringing out the best in your people, so important. You go through all of this trouble to recruit people, you put them through induction programs, you give them training and development, you introduce them to the team and all of those wonderful things, and then ignore them. Basically, we just go, oh, off you go, you know, that's it, you've done your bit now, I've done my bit now, off you go. Always recruit to attitude versus skills. Attitude never dies, skills become obsolete. Work out your new person's profile. Work out the profile of the team that they're going to go into. Are they going to be a good fit? Are they going to fill one of our empty corners? Have we got too many of this type in our team already? Let each team member play to their strengths. If you find that someone isn't performing, before you make the decision to start letting them go, profile them and find out, have we got them in a square peg? Have we got a square peg in a round hole? It's okay to move aspects of jobs around so they fit the people rather than the other way around. If I've got a job description that's got 15 things on it, and I find that this person who I recruited has got a brilliant attitude and they can do 13 of the things on the 15, why don't I give the other 2 things to somebody else who fits their style? We're so rigid about, oh, but this is the job description. Well, this is a human, and all job descriptions should be flexible, in my humble opinion. Don't let good people go. Why would you? And involve everyone in ideas. Yes, peacocks are great at ideas, but other people have ideas too. Involve everyone in bringing forward ideas. And of course, the biggie, encourage every single person to be okay and ask their particular question. Give them permission. Have we covered the how? Have we covered the who? Have we covered the why? Have we covered the when? Cool. Next slide. So what now? I've put this presentation together because I do a lot of webinars online, and every single webinar I do around HR has this particular information at its base. And so I don't have to go through this every time I do a new webinar. This is a session I've done so that if people, because I still can't believe that there are people that still haven't heard of profiling. So I'm about to run a webinar shortly, and I've done a questionnaire out to people to find that half of the people have never heard of profiling. So the other half have. So rather than me take up a whole webinar explaining profiling when half the people already know what it's about, this is for people who haven't done a profile or don't know what it is. So what I'm saying here is, if you would like a profile for yourself, because you're not 100% sure which you are, contact me. If you're about to recruit a new team member, contact me. If you're about to promote someone, absolutely. If you're about to promote someone into management, contact me. If you have a team member that isn't performing, contact me. If you would like, I can give you a team profile. We can profile everybody in your team, and I can show you your empty corner. Then please contact me. And if you come through this to say, I've just watched your webinar on profiling, can I please have a half price profile? Then I will organize that for you, because I just wish we were taught this stuff at school. Yeah, I haven't even started on the fact of who do we marry or who do we get into relationships with. That's a whole different profile. Okay, so just to finish up. So that's it. I hope this has helped you understand different personalities. There's no right or wrong. People aren't out to get you. They're not out to make your life a misery. They're not out to bring your company down, or hope they're not. What they're doing is they're doing what comes naturally to them. So go well. I hope this has been of interest and value to you. But just know that at the bottom, most people are absolutely awesome. It's just that we as managers and owners, don't necessarily understand how to get the best out of them. And I'm passionate about getting the best out of people. So go well, be awesome, and contact me if you would like a profile done.